gentlemen, as we all know, for the start of anything auspicious, lighting of the inaugural lamp is a tradition that is rooted in the culture of India. As I start inviting our very special guests on the stage for the lighting of the inaugural lamp, I would like to mention here that Shri Prahlad Joshi ji, the Honorable Minister of Consumer Affairs, Public Distribution and Renewable Energy for the Government of India, was supposed to join us for this particular event. However, due to pressing work, he could not move out of Delhi. He has been kind enough to share a live video message with us, which we shall be playing a little later. But for now, I would like to invite the rest of our dignitaries seated right here in the front for lamp lighting. I would like to start by inviting our guest of honor, His Excellency Mr. Javier Manuel Paulinich Velarde is the ambassador of Peru to India. I would like to request Shri Prithviraj Kothari ji, National President IBJA, to please join us on the stage. I'd like to request Ms. Sakhila Mirza, the Deputy CEO of LBMA, to please join us on the stage. Shri Sachin Jain, the Regional CEO, World Gold Council, will be joining us on the stage. Mr. Vipin, Raina, the President Marketing for MMTC PAMP. And Mr. Srivatsava Ganapathy is already on the stage with us, Director and CEO, Eventell Global. As I invite these guests to kindly proceed towards the inaugural lamp, we light the lamp with a prayer, and post this, I would request all our guests to please settle down on the stage itself.
Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah. Shubham kurutvam kalyanam arogyam dhanasampadah. Shatru buddhi vinashaya dipajyotir namostute. Dipajyotir namostute. Dipajyotir parabrahma. Dipajyotir janardanah. Dipajyotir parabrahma. Dipajyotir janardanah. Dipo hartu me papam. Sandhya deepa namostute. O deepa brahma rupasvam. Jyotisham prabhuravyayah. O deepa brahma rupasvam. Jyotisham prabhuravyayah. Arogyam dehi putrausha. Vatim swachhami me sada. Raverastam
Everyone, let's have a round of applause. प्रकाश के साथ थोड़ी सी ध्वनि सम्मिलित हो जाएगी तो एक बहुत अच्छी वाइब क्रिएट हो जाएगी. May we have you in the middle of the stage, everyone. A big thank you to all the guests. I invite you to please take your seats on the stage itself. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to start this evening by a very special video message by the Honorable Minister of Consumer Affairs, Public Distribution and Renewable Energy, Shri Prahlad Joshi ji, very specially for all the guests and delegates of the India Gold Conference 2024.
Namaskar to all representatives and the members of IBJA, the World Gold Council, London Bullion Market Association, all other organizations, industry members, members of the various departments of governments, the experts from India and abroad, press and media. I am happy to address all of you on the 21st anniversary of India Gold Conference. I am sure most of you would have been very pleased with the latest budget announcement of the steep cut in import duty on gold, silver and other precious metals. I believe that the low tariffs will expedite the formalization, promote professionalization and enable the growth in the gold industry. I urge the industry leaders to join the hands and seize the opportunity and make India the most competitive player in the gold bullion and gold jewelry business. As you all know, I am in charge of Consumer Affairs Ministry. For us, protecting the consumer interest is of the paramount interest. In this regard, my ministry, through its arm, Bureau of Indian Standards, BIS, has been doing truly remarkable work through a consultative process of engagement with the industry in standard setting. World over, gold is perhaps the only high value article of mass appeal and mass consumption. For the time immemorial, Indians have emotional bonding with the gold, and gold is the main asset which is prominently owned by the women in India. However, the awareness level, purity of the gold and the gold article is very weak. Recognizing this, RBI Committee on the Gold and Precious Metals identified the Bureau of Indian Standards BIS in the year 2000 as the sole agency to operate the hallmarking scheme in India and entrusted the BIS with the task of implementing hallmarking scheme to protect the consumer against the cheating, develop the export competitiveness and make India a leading market for the gold jewellery in the world. The scheme for the hallmarking of the silver article was launched in later 2005. The hallmarking scheme remained voluntary for over 20 years. After extensive consultation, the industry, Government of India made hallmarking compulsory in 256 districts from 23 June 2021. It also mandated that every jewellery retail store has to be accredited to BIS and should sell only hallmark gold jewellery. BIS also developed a digital solution wherein the entire workflow of hallmarking center is automated and made online. Ladies and gentlemen, every gold jewellery of 2 gram and above retailed in India is traceable and is of assured quality. Thanks to the implementation of the HUID in over 350 plus districts of the country, this is perhaps the largest initiative in transparency and quality assurance implemented successfully at such a massive scale anywhere in the world. Compliment to the department and BIS for all their hard work and dedication in protecting the consumer interest. It is our collective responsibility to make the system robust and fail-proof. The department is also looking at introducing the compulsory hallmarking of the bullion, mandatory hallmarking of the silver jewellery and 9-carat gold jewellery. Protecting the consumer interest is one of the core mandates of my ministry. We plan to launch a series of educational programs aimed at rural consumers of the gold and gold articles. We believe that such initiatives would go a long way in increasing the consumer confidence in gold and would expand the market for all of you. I would urge at least the large corporate firms present here to support the Department of Consumer Affairs and contribute through your CSR funds to these consumer awareness programs. Let us empower our consumer with the right knowledge. It will certainly be beneficial for the entire industry in the long run. I understand from the organizers that there is going to be a launch of an SRO for the Indian gold industry during the conference. I congratulate those who involved in such a progressive initiative led by the World Gold Council and wish the industry a grand success. I eagerly await the summary of the deliberations over the next 2 days at the India Gold Conference. I wish each one of you all the very best. To all those who have come from the abroad, take time off and spend a week in Karnataka, my home state. It was a wonderful hill stations with a beautiful coffee estate, gorgeous waterfalls, with adventurous sports activities, stunning beaches, and host to come some of the World Heritage Sites such as Hampi, Badami. Do taste our Bisabele Bhat and filter coffee without fail. Hope you enjoy this day in the warm hospitality of the Kannadigas. Best wishes to all of you for a successful conference. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Well, thank you so much to the Honorable Minister, sir, for taking the time out for this message. I now request the CEO and Director of Eventell Global Advisory, Shri Srivatsava Ganapathy, to please join us on the podium and extend a welcome to each one of you.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, His Excellency Mr. Javier Manuel Paulinich, the Honorable Ambassador of Republic of Peru in India, Shri Prithviraj Kothari ji, National President, India Bullion and Jewellers Association, Ms. Sakhila Mirza, Deputy CEO, London Bullion Markets Association, Mr. Sachin Jain, Regional CEO, India, World Gold Council, Mr. Vipin Raina, President, Marketing, MMTC PAMP, India Private Limited, market participants along the gold value chain in India and abroad, service providers to the gold industry, invitees from government, non-government, as well as private sector, representative of global councils and associations, invitees from academia, press and media, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the organizers, I welcome you all to the 21st edition of the India Gold Conference. At the outset, I would like to place our deepest gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Consumer Affairs, Public Distribution and Renewable Energy, Government of India, Shri Prahalad Joshi ji, for sending a video message. Shri Prahalad Joshi ji was supposed to be present amongst us as the chief guest for the conference. Unfortunately, due to a pressing engagement, he could not make it. Despite that, he has made it a point to send his message. Sir, we thank you for your encouragement. I am confident that the industry would join hands with the Department of Consumer Affairs in the proposed awareness-building initiatives. Our distinguished guest of honor for the day, His Excellency Javier Paulinich, the Honorable Ambassador of Republic of Peru in India, has always responded positively to any requests for building partnership and cooperation. Sir, we are deeply honored by your presence amidst us today, and we eagerly look forward to your special address. July 23, 2024 will be remembered by the Indian gold industry for a long time to come. As on that day, the Honorable Finance Minister announced a steep cut in the import duty on precious metals, including gold. No one expected such a huge cut in import duty from 15% to 6%. In one stroke, the government has almost eliminated all bottlenecks of the industry. Therefore, it is relevant to ask the question, where do we go from here? What's next? How to seize this opportunity and grow the sector? This will be the central theme of the entire conference over the next 2 days. We will try and address this question in the roundtable scheduled later today and in each of our discussions tomorrow. In IGC 2024, we have attempted a couple of new initiatives. For the first time, yesterday we organized a one-day seminar exclusively on technology titled Recent Advances in Refining and Assaying Technology. It was attended by 55 delegates. Second, we are pleased to inform you that 3 of the discussions will be chaired by ladies, and all the sessions will have a lady speaker. Third, for the first time, a full session on the startup ecosystem in gold and jewelry industry is scheduled for tomorrow. Besides the conference sessions, taking advantage of Bangalore weather, we have dared to keep both the dinners outdoor and provide a unique and yet differentiated experience. At IGC 2024, we have amidst us 650 delegates from over 20 plus countries. This is a testimony of the optimism prevailing amongst the stakeholders post the duty cut. Such a huge gathering also provides a great opportunity to announce the launch of a very transformative initiative. You will soon hear more about this from the World Gold Council. Every conference evolves with the support of partners, supporting bodies, and sponsors. At IGC 2024, we have 38 such strong partners, sponsors, and supporting bodies. I welcome each one of them and hope the conference is hugely rewarding for them. The hotel is known for its hugeness of its ballroom, plenty of small meeting rooms and great quality food. Alongside hectic conferencing and meeting, we do hope you will have time to relax, rewind, and rejuvenate at the Hilton in the magical city of Bangalore. True to its nature, we have curated both gala dinners to aptly suit Bangalore and its cosmopolitan culture. Hope you will enjoy the dinners, one with a fusion twist and the other one a gala party at a brewery. The program schedule is available in your badge through the QR code. Likewise, Connect Hub in the conference website, goldconference.in, will enable you to fix appointments and plan your time. Inside the conference hall, the web-based browser app Slido will make your participation count in various technical sessions. Should you need any further assistance, do not hesitate to contact the help desk of the Eventell team. We take this opportunity to place our deepest appreciation for the program committee for their time, thought, and the reach out. Hope you find the sessions valuable for your business. Likewise, we commend the efforts put in by the IGC Excellent Award Committee in defining the award category, criteria, and ensuring transparency in the selection process. We will have the award ceremony later today. On behalf of the organizers, I welcome you all once again and hope you will have a memorable 2 days of conferencing. Wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Srivatsava, Ganapathy, and good to hear about the inclusivity efforts of the conference as well, with ladies chairing the session. With this, it's time for me to invite a very special guest onto the podium, who in his official capacity and in his personal capacity is actually a name that needs no introduction at all in the gold value supply chain in India. Yet, it's my job, so I will tell you a little bit about Shri Prithviraj Kothari ji, the National President of India Bullion and Jewelers Association, IBJA. And he's a leading figure in the bullion industry with over 3 decades of experience in gold trading. He's been instrumental in advancing India's bullion market, including pioneering instant international price-based INR-denominated bullion trading, and launching RSBL Spot, India's first electronic over-the-counter bullion trading system. He also serves as the chairman of GITO, the Jain International Trade Organization Mumbai Zone, president of Bhinmal Welfare Association, and a trustee of Mohan Kheda Teerth, twice awarded the Jain Ratna by the President and the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Mr. Kothari continues to revolutionize the bullion industry with his innovative approach. Kothari ji, IBJA का और आपका समर्थन हमें भी बहुत प्रोत्साहन और प्रेरणा देता है. मैं निवेदन करूंगी आप प्लीज पोडियम पर आएं और अपना एड्रेस दें.
अभी जस्ट स्टेज पे पूछ रहा था कि मैंने अभी ऐसे लग रहा है जैसे कि 21 साल हो गए. 2003 में हमने फर्स्ट कॉन्फ्रेंस मुंबई में किया था और आज 21 साल के बाद में यानी होम टाउन बेंगलोर. थैंक यू श्रीवास्तव. It is with a great pleasure and honor that I, on behalf of IBJA, welcome you all to the Indian Gold Conference 2024. I extend a warm and heartfelt greeting to all our esteemed guests, industry leaders, and participants. We are truly privileged to have His Excellency Mr. Javier Manuel Paulinich Velarde, Ambassador of Peru to India, with us today. His presence is a testament to the importance of this gathering and the commitment of our government to fostering growth and innovation in the gold industry. Sir, we are deeply grateful for your support and leadership. As we gather here in the splendid city of Bangalore, Bengaluru, the heart of one of the most vibrant gold markets, we are presented with an incredible opportunity to discuss the future of our industry. This conference brings together bullion dealers, jewelers, financial experts, and industry stakeholders from across the country and beyond. Our collective expertise and insight will be instrumental in the shaping the future of gold trade and investment. With the unexpected duty reduction of 9%, मैं budget नहीं पढ़ रहा हूँ, 9% on gold and silver, our trade has become very transparent now. However, gold refiners still run their refinery at paper-thin margin of 0.65%. Refiners continue to be under stress due to the price of raw gold being cheaper than Indian refined gold under CPI agreement. Bullion refinery at the GIFT City has started showing pace and land being acquired by IBJA. We shall soon conduct meeting with all those who wish to acquire stake in Bullion refinery. Bullion refinery at GIFT City is IBJA dreams with investment of approximately $20 million. With the setting up our Bullion refinery at GIFT City and with the help of IIBX, India International Bullion Exchange, entire gold-silver ecosystem is developing in India. Hence, we have already started pushing government for bullion exports. With the IBJA efforts, bullion hallmarking is the next best thing, which is likely to become mandatory from year 2025. This will bring level playing field to in bullion industry. IBJA has this year introduced IBJA Verified Tag for its platinum member. IBJA Verified Tag is a symbol of legal, authentic, and genuineness of business. I request my fellow members to take advantage of IBJA Verified Tag and make this a symbol of prosperity. High inflation, geopolitical tension, central bank gold buying, and China and Russia led for de-dollarization movement are the main reason for the rise in gold prices during year 2024. As central bank of the development nation have raised interest rate rapidly to the multi-decade high levels, this is going to hamper the growth in the next year as we are near peak interest rates. Recession risks are looming in US, UK, and Eurozone. Therefore, de-dollarization and recession risk are the two factors that will support gold prices in the short term to medium term. This year, conference is relevant as we navigate a dynamic global landscape. We will explore a range of topics, including market trends, regulatory updates, technology, advancement, and substantive practices. Our goal is to foster meaningful dialogue and share innovative ideas and build strategies that will drive our industry forward. I encourage each of you to take full advantage of the sessions, network with your peers, and engage a discussion that will not only benefit your business, but also contribute to the growth and development of the entire gold sector. We, along with other stakeholders, are now part of SRO, called IAGES, Indian Association for Gold Excellence Standard. This SRO would help removing government interference as we ourselves become regulator for the industry. Excellent progress have been done in this regard. These SRO will help industry to get rating also. Thank you, World Gold Council, for IAGES. Thank you for being here and for your continued dedication to the gold industry. Together, let's make this conference a milestone event that set new benchmark and paves the way of future success. Once again, welcome to the India Gold Conference 2024. Let's embark on this journey of discovery and collaboration with enthusiasm and optimism. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Mr. Sachin Jain is the Regional CEO, World Gold Council in India, and he's responsible for leading the World Gold Council activities across the Indian gold market. Sachin ji has joined from De Beers, where he has held several senior roles for the past 13 years as the Managing Director of De Beers India. He has led the De Beers Forever Mark business in India and the Middle East. Prior to this, he's also been holding senior positions for prestige brands like Yadro and Swatch Group. For now, please put your hands together as I invite Mr. Sachin Jain to deliver an opening address.
Distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride that I address all these amazing gathering. A gathering of leaders, gathering of inspirational people, and gathering which is here together to in this phenomenal city of Bangalore. And I'm sure a lot of people from here
from Bangalore are proud that it's happening in their city. Prithviraj, you mentioned coming back home, and I really value that. It's like really happening at home. All of us at World Gold Council, myself and my team, are truly delighted to be part of this amazing conference. So congratulations to Eventell to hosting this amazing conference and bringing us together. And at the outset, I'd like to say that while all of us are here, I'd like to congratulate you that we've gotten here from different parts of the world. And you have commissioned and put forth the most important possession that you all have, which is your time, to be here. And while we're here together, I urge all of you to put your best foot forward. Let's network, not just to network, but let's get inspired and really shape up the future of the world. And when we go back home, let's take back one or two key implementable things that will change and impact our lives and our businesses. So I encourage you to do that. Now let's reflect on what's happening in a very interesting gold market that we've seen over the last very many months. And it's a perfect dichotomy of sorts. On one hand, you see the trends of consumer side, you see trends from geopolitical situations, economic trends, but also the underlying fact that the strength of gold is here to stay and is unanimous. When we look at the first 7 months of the year, the price of gold has gone up 12%. And that's overtaken any asset class performance. And that's fundamental. And because of that, we can all say that gold continues to be a safe haven, and gold continues to be a very important asset to have a pride in the family of that rainy day, of that pride that any family holds. And that's the fundamental. We've seen central banks being the pillar of this driver of growth over the last 7 to 8 months. Recently, we concluded a very important survey that we do with the global central banks, and 29% of the central banks have communicated that they will continue to increase the reserve of gold in the next 12 months. And that's phenomenal. That's again indexed to what all we're talking about as gold and how this is going to shape up differently. But importantly, let's talk about the sustainability of gold and what we all need to look at, a facet that World Gold Council is really building up. We recently launched one of our initiatives called Gold 247. And Gold 247 is of course, a very expansive project, but I'll summarize it in just a few words. Gold 247 is really bringing in the integrity, the accessibility, and the fungibility in the gold market. And let me start by reflecting in a very brief manner what this really means. When I talk about integrity, we partner with LBMA, and Ms. Mirza is here, and she will perhaps reflect over the next couple of days around what our association and our partnership is all about. But intentionally, what it does is it brings the authenticity and the responsible sourcing of gold into the business. It's around creating the value chain and a blockchain around gold, and working with the LBMA, we think we're going to get there, because that's the ask of the financial world. That's the ask of the consumer ahead of us. And we all are in this together. We, of course, are paving the way, but we think it's an important step. The second part of this is accessibility, and we have to look at gold as an asset class that competes with other asset classes. So we need to be available to perhaps a customer or a market infringement 24/7, and that means a big deal of change in the way we operate, bringing in digital transformation in what we bring in our businesses, and that's important. And the third area is really about fungibility, and just what that really means is that ours is a very fragmented business. The gold doesn't move from A business to B business easily, from A geography to B geography, and we need to structurally change that in the years to come, gold is an attractive asset class for the financial investor and to the consumer at large. And we all are in this together, and we at World Gold Council are committed to pave a way for this future, as we go along. We also have set up our Dubai office recently. My colleague Ajit, who's also responsible for the Middle Eastern region, is here. We'd love to engage with you. Our colleagues are there. It's our first footprint that we've had in the Middle Eastern market. And all of you who are connected to the Middle Eastern market, we'd love for you to engage with us. We guys will be on the floor to give you more details as you go forward. Now let's jump on India. And Prithviraj, you talked about the great changes of budget, but you will hear great statistics we'll talk about in the next 2 days. But I'll just touch upon two very fundamental ones. We say that the per capita income, which is simply the income in every individual's hands, is about $2,500 in India. It's slated that by end of this decade, it's going to be $4,000. With every 1% increase of income, we've seen 1% increase of gold demand. So we can just imagine what is lying ahead in this next 6 years, plus what's lying ahead in the next 20 years. And that's a big opportunity. But what's also changing is that by the 31st of December, which is 4 or 5 months from now, 31st December, midnight of 31st December, 72% of India will be millennial or younger. And we as an industry need to change and make a lot of changes to be ready to pave the way with these millennials in the way they operate and build up the business in the future. And that's one part that of the whole economy. Last quarter, we see, very interesting quarter where when the prices of gold soared up, we saw almost a tumbling jewelry market. But interestingly, we saw 47% increase in the bar and coin. And what does that mean? 47% in volume, 76% in value, which essentially tells you the strength of gold for an Indian consumer. The underlying strength of when we say gold as a safe haven, we say gold as an asset for home in a rainy day. So that's fundamentally super strong. And Prithviraj, you said 23rd of July, the government of India, in one sentence, changed what gold can be for our economy, what we have to be as an economy. And that opens up one great demand. But as we go forward, we believe that quarter 4 of this year will be a very important quarter as far as consumption is concerned from all facets. And we need to really look at slightly differently. Now, just zooming into what are we doing as World Gold Council, and there are about tens and tens of projects that we as a team keep talking about, but I reflect on some tangible ones that are out in the market. For us, there are 3 priorities. Number 1 is the financial markets. And while we're doing a lot of structural work and creating our new products for consumers and the markets at large, we recently launched our first ETF campaign that's live in Bombay. It's going to be rolling out across the country. And we believe that the AUM on the ETS, which is almost touching about 50 tons, has the potential, if we all get together, do a good job, to touch 100 tons by end of next year. And that's a real potential. And we all perhaps can get behind doing it. But the tangible effect is that the campaign is on and we're rolling out across the country. Look at the jewelry market, which is the second area of performance. We have our You Are Gold campaign, which is a campaign that connects the millennial to the beauty and the elegance of what gold has to offer. And we'll encourage all of you to please engage with us at our booth. We'll give you more details. The campaign rolls out now. And over the last month and a half, we worked with IBJA, with GJAPC, with GJC to profess and make this alive with the partners. And I'll encourage all of you to take the advantage of this campaign. And that's part 1. We're also building the next phase of our campaign, which goes live, perhaps in quarter 1 of next year, where we want to bring the entire industry together. The very important step that respectable minister mentioned, and so did Prithviraj ji, is the launch of the first SRO, which is the first self-regulatory organization in the entire gold value chain. I will talk about it more in depth in the coming time. But that step is historic. That step is for the industry, by the industry, and really uplifting what we are and what we can mean to the consumer and to the government at large. And we'll get more details. Again, I'll encourage you all to come and see us. We can give more details. Thirdly, it's the government. And the work that we're tangibly going to do is, of course, you can talk about a lot of things around making gold as in India as an important exporter of gold, fundamental changes around gold monetization schemes and so on and so forth. But you might have heard that our respectable Prime Minister has laid out a roadmap that by 2047, we say Viksit Bharat. Viksit Bharat is essentially a developed India roadmap by which will be a $30 trillion economy. And my dear friends, there is no mention of gold in that plan today. And becomes, of course, we leading it up, but becomes our collective responsibility to bring the magnificence of gold, what we can do to the goals of the government around employment, around economy, and all the other areas. And we're kicking that off. And hopefully, if that's working, then what we as an industry need to do in 2040, 2035, and now we'll get more and more clearer. So I think we are very excited. World Gold Council wants to be the catalyst of this growth-driving opportunity in India. We want to work with all of you. Please use us, work with us, debate with us. The entire team of World Gold Council is on the floor. We'll encourage you to, spend as much quality time with us. And I think really the potential of the gold industry is here to stay, but we all have to look at future slightly differently. And we believe that if we work together, we're going to get there. So with that, I'll again reflect that the previous speakers have mentioned about the importance of these 2 days. While we all engage, please have lots of fun. And I wish you all a great next 2 days here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sachin sir, for your very passionate, appeal to the entire audience. Please ensure that you do pay heed to whatever has just been told to you all. Having said this, we will have Mr. Sachin Jain back on the podium in a short while from now. But for now, it's my great pleasure to yet again welcome Ms. Sakhila Mirza back to India and, of course, to this esteemed panel again. Ms. Sakhila Mirza is the Deputy Chief Executive and General Counsel of the London Bullion Market Association, LBMA, and she's the Executive Director of the LBMA Board. In a pivotal role, Sakhila works closely with the CEO to shape the strategic direction of the LBMA, overseeing legal and regulatory matters, the responsible sourcing program, market development, development initiatives and member lobbying efforts. She's a graduate of the London School of Economics and a qualified solicitor and brings a wealth of expertise to her role. Let's give a resounding round of applause to Ms. Sakhila Mirza.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, to Eventell and IBJA. On a personal note, it's always overwhelming coming back to India. It's a market, it's an industry, it's a country that I've always enjoyed visiting, but more so because of the people and how you make my time enjoyable, the hospitality, but also the respect that I get, not just from this industry, but also from around in tourism, the hotel. Everybody has been absolutely phenomenal. So thank you to India, and thank you to you all for all the warmth that you give me. So a little bit about the LBMA and obviously about the market. So let me start with pointing out the obvious, which has already been said by my esteemed panelists, but I just want to summarize. Globally, the gold price has reached a new high, which has led to a lot of positive sentiment. There's a lot of smiles in this room, outside of this room, because globally the gold price is at a high. Secondly, the India economy continues to boom. It's exciting, it's energetic, and again, it's led to a lot of positive energy, both within this room and outside. Next, the Indian government's policies on gold, and especially around the tax duty. The reduction has been positively encouraged. It's helped the industry grow positively. And again, it's led to a lot of increase in businesses, but also the gathering of this esteemed audience today. And finally, this conference. It's grown, it continues to grow, and I think with a record attendance, it just goes to show that everybody is riding high on this positivity that is being generated by the gold price, by the economy, by the government interest in this market, but also the willingness for everybody to strengthen their relationships with each other, with the international market, but also to discuss mutual challenges and how can we, as an industry, help the gold market on a global level, but also more importantly, help the gold market within India, one of the most important markets in the world. So let's not be complacent about all this positivity. Long-term success, business resilience has to be built on a solid foundation. And it should not be taken for granted that whilst there's a lot of positive energy, and long may it continue, and this is why organizations like the LBMA, like the World Gold Council, and several others want to support this industry, but we also have to help ourselves. So that long-term success, the resilience, needs to be built on a solid foundation, and that foundation requires business integrity, which means trust is important. It requires sustainable practices to help the next generation to make sure that this industry remains fit for purpose for the future. It requires clear leadership that can guide policy, that leadership that can direct where this industry needs to go. And finally, innovation. The technology advancement, especially within India, I've had a few conversations already about technology organizations and the progress they're making and how they're using their advances, combining it with the industry to ensure that we do have a business that is going to be fit for the future. This formula, business integrity, sustainable practices, clear leadership, and innovation, it's simple, it's obvious, it's clear. It applies to every business, and it doesn't matter where you are on the value chain, whether you're upstream, downstream, refiners, or organizations like the LBMA or World Gold Council. It's important that we focus on these principles, we build on those principles, especially when times are good, so that when there is challenges being directed at this industry, that solid foundation will ensure we overcome those challenges. So let's use the time now, let's use that positive energy to discuss and understand how can we continue to grow and prosper and ensure that this market will only face success and development. So now let me make this a little bit more relevant to the work of the LBMA. And in particular, I want to focus on the refiners, given that the refiners are the bread and butter of the LBMA, otherwise known as the Good Delivery List. I don't believe the LBMA needs a detailed introduction, but for those who may be new to the industry, and actually it has been a genuine, I would say a welcomed, genuine interest to see new faces. I think this is also reflected in the growing numbers of this industry. But over the last few years, when I've been coming to India, I've gotten to develop relationships with a lot of people who've been in the industry for a number of years. But this time, I felt I've met some new faces. And that's a good sign that people are interested in the industry to be part of this industry to develop. And so, for those who are new, I am around for the next 2 days, so please come and discuss with me the detailed role of the LBMA. But for those who know what we do, I'm not going to go into any detail, but I am going to highlight that we run the Good Delivery List. This is a global list comprising of almost 65 gold refineries and 35 silver refineries. And this list ensures that the gold that international organizations are buying from these refiners has been sourced responsibly, ethically, and sustainability. The LBMA rules also cover the technical standards, which I do not wish to go into detail, and again, I can talk about that later on. And both the technical standards and the responsible sourcing standards ensure that we can maintain a supply chain that is representing business integrity. Many refiners within the Indian market have aspirations to join the Good Delivery List, and it's welcomed. And I do encourage you to look at our rules, to understand our rules, and to start that journey in understanding what it is that you need to do to meet those requirements. However, there is one requirement that I would strongly encourage, whether or not you have aspirations, whether or not you can meet those standards in terms of the good delivery standards, is to ensure that your supply chain, your sourcing profile meets the international standards. And I say this because whether or not you're part of the Good Delivery List, your supply chain makes a difference to the entire gold market globally. In some cases, I know some refiners in India are working with good delivery refiners. Some refiners in India are working with international brands and organizations, and some are working directly with the large corporations that exist in India. Those supply chains will make a difference, not to your own business, but on the reputation of India as an integral and critical part of the gold industry. So ensuring you know who's part of your supply chain, who you are sourcing from, who you are doing business with, is absolutely critical for the future success. And this is why, like I said, the price might be high, India economy is booming, but one wrong step in terms of your business integrity could make it very difficult for you to build a sustainable business for the future generations. And so therefore, ensuring you've got that right today when business is doing well, there is no better time than now. We would also be expanding our standards when it comes to responsible sourcing. And part of the standard that will be relevant to those in the room is our requirements for intermediate refiners. The definition of intermediate refiners is provided in our Responsible Gold Guidance version 9. Again, I encourage you to visit our website for the clearer definition. But in simple terms, an intermediate refiner is a refiner that is not on the good delivery list, but nevertheless is part of the supply chain. And there's a lot of responsibility that we are requiring good delivery list refiners to ensure that those intermediate refiners that they are engaged with are undergoing an independent third-party responsible sourcing OECD-aligned audit. It is no light responsibility. It requires a lot of work, it requires a lot of effort, but in the long term, it's an investment, and an investment that, again, will help your businesses flourish and grow. So do look out next year as we develop those standards under Responsible Gold Guidance version 10, and we expand the role of that intermediate refiner, how it's relevant to your business within India. One of the main challenges, and there's a few challenges in the gold industry that we like to work on and understand how we can address them and mitigate those risks, but one of the challenges I do want to highlight is sourcing responsible ASM, otherwise artisanal small-scale mining. ASM accounts for 20% of the global gold production, so it is not an insignificant part of the supply chain. Nevertheless, it does present a number of risks. These risks cannot be addressed in isolation. These risks, we have to come together as an industry, collectively understand where are the challenges, how do we address them, and the LBMA is not claiming to have answers to everything. What we are requiring is your ideas, your thinking on how we can help to ensure that we are sourcing responsible ASM. We can support that, but ensure that it's part of a supply chain that supports the integrity of the industry. The other topic that's been quite in focus in recent years is the topic of recycled gold. What is recycled gold? What does recycled gold mean? And why has it become more and more popular? More and more downstream are quite focused on mitigating their carbon footprint. And one of the ways that they've decided to mitigate their carbon footprint is to focus on only having recycled gold as part of their supply chain. Now, recycled gold, I think there's plenty of that within India, and I will leave the World Gold Council to share a lot of the statistics around the data. But recycled gold is not necessarily a challenge through the jewelry, because there's plenty of jewelry within India. Where the challenge lies when it comes to recycled is making sure that what you have is truly recycled gold and it's not tainted gold that is being disguised as recycled. So that focus on understanding that supply chain, which I know I have repeated a few times and I cannot repeat enough, is absolutely critical to help you ensure that the material you are sourcing, it is truly recycled. It can be part of that global supply chain, especially when the demand for recycled on the downstream is growing. And finally, when it comes to technology, the LBMA, together with the World Gold Council, for the last few years has been working on the Gold Bar Initiative project. We piloted this 2 years ago in understanding how blockchain could help this industry. It was a successful pilot that led to a number of outcomes. One of the outcomes that's relevant to the LBMA is setting up a database that will gather data from GDR refiners on country of origin and various other important data points to help with transparency. That transparency is important to gain trust. Without trust, this business will not succeed. And to help, having data, having an understanding of where the challenges lie, how the data supports that challenges, and how we can use data to improve our practices is going to be absolutely essential, and something that we're working on through launching a database next year in the first quarter. And then through, once we've launched the database, the idea will be gathering data on a frequent basis, launching, publishing it, and understanding from the key markets on how and where we can make improvements. So there's a lot going on at the LBMA. We've got the standards that we will be looking to improve. We've got the Gold Bar Integrity Project. We have an ASM task force. We are part of the ISO working group on a recycled gold definition. But we're also lobbying together with the World Gold Council on trying to get gold to become a high quality liquid asset on a regulatory basis. This is through the Basel Committee. Also working on understanding what the governments are doing in key international gold hubs, India being one of them, but several other key international gold hubs, improving those government relations, but also educating them in terms of what it is that the private sector is doing to regulate this industry. We do a number of training offerings, and of course, I have to say this, we do have our conference in Miami later this year, so I do hope all of you, or at least some of you, can join us to continue the discussions that we started in India today in Miami in October, so that we can also understand what is happening in terms of other parts of the world. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm around for the next few days.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mirza, for enumerating the efforts of LBMA towards growth and expansion of the global gold industry. With this, before I invite our honorable chief guest onto the stage for his address, I would just like to acknowledge on stage the presence of Mr. Vipin Raina. He's the President Marketing for MMTC PAMP India. He's here on the stage with us. And of course, he's also done the honors for us as the title sponsor. But Mr. Vipin Raina would be speaking to us during the roundtable session. For now, it's time for me to finally invite our guest of honor for the inaugural function, His Excellency Mr. Javier Paulinich, the Ambassador of the Republic of Peru. He holds a bachelor's degree in international relations from Diplomatic Academy of Peru and a bachelor's degree in social science and specialization in sociology from the main National University of San Marcos. He was appointed as an ambassador of Peru in Austria in 2000 and concurrently accredited to the republics of Turkey, Slovenia, Slovakia, but he continued to reside in Austria throughout the entire term. Also, he has been awarded the following decoration, a grand badge of honor in gold with the Band of Merit from Austria. Let's have a round of applause as I invite on stage, on the podium, His Excellency, Mr. Javier Paulinich.
Mr. Prithviraj Kothari, National President of the Indian Bullion and Jewelers Associations, Ms. Sakhila Mirza, Deputy CEO, London Bullion Market Association, Mr. Sachin Jain, Regional CEO, India World Gold Council, Mr. Vipin Raina, President Marketing, MMTC PAMP India, Mr. Srivatsava, Ganapathy, Director and CEO, Eventell Global Advisory. Distinguished audience, it is a privilege to join you again as a chief guest at the Indian Gold Conference, the premier forum for India's gold bullion industry. For both Peru and India, gold is not merely an economic asset, but also a profound cultural symbol. In Peru, the Inca Empire revered gold as a sacred element, using it in religious ceremonies as a symbol of divine power. Similarly, India, gold has deep-rooted cultural significance, intertwined with tradition and spiritual beliefs. As we celebrate the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Peru and India last year, a paradox became evident. Peru, now the ninth largest gold exporter globally and the second in Latin America, has no gold export to India during my first period as ambassador of Peru to India in 2009, despite India being the world's largest gold importer with imports of around 70 billion annually. Recognizing this untapped potential, my embassy worked to bridge this gap. And today, as our country enters the final phase of a free trade agreement negotiations, this connection is more crucial than ever. By the way, in this negotiation, gold is going to occupy a very important role in order to reduce duty, custom duty for the benefits of India as well as Peru. Moreover, the recent union budget, as already mentioned, with its reduction of import duties on gold and silver to 6%, announced by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, further strengthen the prospect for our collaboration. In that sense, I invite you to consider how these developments can create new opportunities for both nations. Peru has long recognized as a mining powerhouse with significant potential to attract investment in both mining services and supplies. Over the last decade, the mining sector has consistently contributed over 8% to our GDP and more than 65% to our total export. Peru ranks among the top in the world for various minerals, and today it holds the 9th position globally in gold production, while being the second largest producer in Latin America. This makes Peru a top destination for mining investment. From 2003 and 2022, Peru has attracted over 17 billion in foreign direct investment directed towards manufacturing activities. This clearly reflects the global confidence in our country's growth and development potential in the industrial sector. Of this total amount, the metal sector, which is closely linked to mining, has captured a significant portion. Specifically, it represents 28% of the total, amounting to more than almost $5 billion. This sector has not been crucial in terms of investment, but has also had a notable impact of employment, generating nearly 12,000 direct jobs. The main investor countries in the mining sector in Peru are China, Canada, Mexico, and United States of America. India is missing in this list. Gold trade relation Peru-India. Our gold trade relationship with India has grown significantly over the years. Last year, Peru's total gold export amount 8 billion globally, with India emerging as the second largest destination, receiving 2.2 billion worth of gold. Notably, during the first half of this year, our gold export to India surged by 81% compared to the same period last year. If this trend continues, it is expected to reach approximately $3 billion by the end of this year. At the present, the main destinations for Peruvian gold export are Switzerland, India, and Canada. India represents a crucial market for Peruvian gold, accounting for 26% of our gold exports. However, despite this strong presence, Peruvian gold only makes 6.2% of India's total gold imports. It's encouraging to see that the number of companies exporting gold to India has grown from just 30 in 2015 to over 300 in last year. Some of these companies already have Indian investors. With the project on the horizon, we are confident that Peru's share in the Indian gold market will continue to grow. New gold projects in investment and exploration stage in Peru. Peru remains a top global producer, with production consistently growing each year. Our gold deposits are abundant and strategically located along the Andes Mountains, offering excellent opportunities for exploration and exploitation. Currently, we have 6 major gold projects in the investment stage, with a combined investment of $7 billion. Among these notable projects include Conga, Proyecto en Cajamarca, known for its large-scale potential and significant contribution to the region's economy, Santa Maria project in La Libertad, which promises substantial advancement in gold production and job creation. In addition to this investment, we have 18 exploration projects with an additional investment at the moment for $220 million. Key exploration projects include Tambomayo in Arequipa, which has shown promising results and potential for substantial gold reserves. Iluminaria, also in Arequipa, by the way, is my board town in Arequipa, recognized for its strategic importance and exploration potential. However, we are actively seeking to increase Indian investment in these lucrative opportunities. Thank you. As we close, I want to emphasize the immense potential for collaboration between Peru and India in the gold industry. Should you have any question or need further information, please don't hesitate to contact us and the embassy in Delhi. We look forward to exploring these opportunities together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Javier Paulinich. With this, as we conclude the inaugural session, I would like to request Mr. Prithviraj Kothari to kindly present a memento to all our guests, starting with our guest of honor this evening, a memento for His Excellency, Mr. Javier Paulinich. तालियां बजेंगी तो थोड़ा माहौल बनेगा, ऑडियंस भी जागी रहे तो अच्छा लगेगा. तो चलिए, a big thank you on the stage for our next guest on the stage. We would like to also present a memento to Ms. Sakhila Mirza. A big thank you to Mr. Sachin Jain. And finally, Mr. Vipin Raina. I would now like to request Mr. Srivatsava to present a memento to Mr. Prithviraj Kothari. And as we do this, may I request all our very special guests to kindly alight from the chairs, close up for a group picture together.